This is a weird story. You know, I had this beautiful old, it's a bigger guitar. It was a Takamine, it's another brand, and it was maple, so it was blonde. It was a really, really pretty guitar. A little bigger than this. I had it for 10, 12 years, kind of been through the wars with me, you know, and you get really attached to these guitars. But at the same time, as much as I love that guitar, and I really did, I'm very attached to it, I was having this thought that I wanted to get a guitar that also was better finger-picking guitar and maybe sounded a little different acoustically, you know, so just some different features and qualities. And I'm thinking about this and thinking about it, but I'm not doing anything about it. I'm just thinking about it and not taking action primarily because the process of shopping for guitars is something I've never really enjoyed. Partly because it is hard, in my experience, to find one you like. You know, it is almost like finding a girlfriend. You kind of have to be together for a while and see how you fit, you know. But secondly, because most guitar stores are staffed by what we could call young rock musicians. And this is not a knock in any way on young rock musicians, because I used to be one. But, well, just tell me if in your mind these things go together. Young rock musicians, great customer service. Sort of a disconnect, you know, most of the time. So I'm just putting it off until fate intervenes in the Honolulu airport in the form of this woman, who I will affectionately call Attilla, the gate agent. And to this day, I don't know what her problem was. I don't know what she was on, or, you know, bad lunch, whatever. But she sees me coming, and I've got my old guitar in my soft case, which is a lightweight case. It's got a little padding, and you just kind of put it over your back, and, you know, it fits overhead or it hangs in the closet. And I'm taken it on every week for years on the plane. So I'm walking up to the gate counter, and she sees me coming, and she points at me. I'm like 15 feet away. I'm about where that counter is, that table, and she points at me, and she says in this loud voice, "That is not going on the plane with you." And I just thought, what? You know, and I kind of did a right turn and thought, what's going on? And I thought about it, and I thought, oh, she just doesn't understand that I'm a professional musician, and I just need to explain that to her, and she'll get it, you know. And so I you know, wait a minute, and I give her a big smile, and I said, oh, hey, listen, you know, I just want to explain to you, I'm a professional musician, and I fly your airline all the time. I'm going to San Francisco. I have to have my guitar with me. And she said, no. She said, I don't think you heard me. That is not going on the plane with you. And she walked away. And I thought, wow, this is going to be harder than I thought. So I thought, well, maybe she's worried about the load, you know. So I wait a few minutes, and I go back up to her. I give her a big smile. I said, hey, I bet you're just worried about the load. How about we let everybody else get on, and then I'll get on last, and we'll see if there's room, because I knew there'd be room. And she said, I've already told you twice. Dad is not going on the plane with you. Now decide what you're going to do and stop bothering me with this. And she walks off. And now I'm getting worried because people are boarding. So finally, you know, I have to get on the plane, and I just resort to begging. And I just go up to her, and I said, look, can you just work with me? Can you just give me a break and let me try to get on? And I got to have my guitar. There's no padding. And she says, you have two choices. You can leave it here, or you can check it, but it's not going with you. And I could tell by the look in her eyes, you know, and I believed her, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to give it to you. But I'm going to ask you to please tell the baggage people to take care of it, because there's no padding. And if it gets bumped around, you know, it's going to get hurt. And she just takes it, looks at me, and then leaves, you know. So I get on the plane, and it turns out I'm in the bulkhead seat. I'm in the bulkhead seat right across from the jump seat. And we're taxiing. It's taken a long time to taxi, and the flight attendant's sitting there in the jump seat, so we're talking. So I end up telling her this whole story. And to her credit, she listens very patiently, very attentively, and when I'm finished, she says, you know what, I just have to apologize for our airline. This is wrong. This should not have happened. We're not all like this. I don't know what was wrong, but please don't hold it against us. We always try to accommodate musicians. We know you guys have your instruments, and there's plenty of room on the plane. The closets are empty. There's no way this should have happened, and please accept my apology for our entire airline. And I could, she was sincere, and I felt way better because she apologized to me. And she got up to go to work, and I thought that was the end of it. But evidently she told all the other flight attendants, because we get to San Francisco, and it's my turn to get off the plane, and they're all 7 of them lined up there. And they all said, look, here's your guitar. They brought it up, and I said, wow, great, let's look at it. And so I unzipped the case and opened it, and splinters. It's wrecked. It's like it's been at a Who concert. It's not going to be played again. So, I felt horrible. But these flight attendants felt bad, too, because 3 of them marched me down to baggage service, and they went up to the counter with me, and they said, look, here's this guy. Here's what happened to him. Here's our names. He got a bad deal. We think you should make it right. This should never have happened. Please take care of him. And then they left because it was midnight, and they had to get up in the morning and go to work. And so here I am at midnight in the bowels of the San Francisco airport with nobody around except this girl across the counter who looks about 12. And she looks up at me with this sweet face, and she says, I can't help you. I'm just 18. I just work here. I have no authority to do anything. If you want to come back in the morning and talk to the manager, you can come back in the morning. But I have to tell you, we have a company policy, and we do not compensate for musical instruments. It's firm. It's never broken. So I just got to warn you. But in any case, I can do nothing. And I believed her. So I left, and I went to where I was spending the night. And I tried unsuccessfully all night, to go to sleep, to not be furious with Attilla. And didn't work, and I didn't sleep much, and I got up in the morning, exhausted from all that anger. So I'm driving back out to the hospital, or the airport hospital, right where I felt like going. I'm driving back out to the airport, and I'm completely wasted. And so I just said this prayer. I said, God, I don't care what happens. I'm turning it over to you. I don't care what happens. Just let me be calm. Whatever happens will be fine. Please just let me be calm. And it worked. And I was calm. And I got there, and the manager was there, and this nice woman, and I sat down, and she sat down, and I told her the whole story, and I had everybody's name, and she listened to the whole thing without interrupting me. I told her, beginning to end, all the names, Attila's name, all the flight attendants, the whole thing. And she looks at me, and she says, well, I got to go talk to somebody. And she disappears for 15 minutes. She comes back with this other supremely higher manager, and they sit down, these 2 ladies, and they look at me and they said, well, we have a company policy and we don't compensate for musical instruments. And I said, yeah, I know that. I heard that. And they said, well, we've talked this over and we think we need to buy you a new guitar. I said, really? And they said, yeah, just go find one you like and we'll pay for it. Have this one appraised and find one you like and we'll pay for it. So I got out of there, before they could change their minds or say anything else, and I asked my musician friends, I said, where do I go in San Francisco to get a guitar? And they said, oh, there's only one place you can go. You have to go to the Haight-Ashbury Music Center. So I said, okay. So has anybody been to Haight-Ashbury lately? Has anybody? Because, I'm from Kansas. And Haight-Ashbury is it's like this corner of the Twilight Zone. It's like you got the 60s and the 90s and some future decade I can't imagine. They're all right there. You got every kind of personal preference right there on the sidewalk. And you walk around and you see it and you smell it, and it's like this smorgasbord for the senses. It's amazing. So I'm walking around looking for this store, a few blocks, walking around, so getting sort of high in the process, And finally, I find the Haight-Ashbury Music Center, and it's the best guitar store I've ever been in. They have acres of guitars. They have people that are like my age, and they answer all my questions. For 2 days, they bring me guitars, and they know everything I need to know. They answer all my questions. They don't bother me. They just bring me guitars, let me play them for 2 days. And after a day and a half, I picked this guitar up, and I knew when I picked it up, wow, this feels like nothing I've ever felt. I love how this feels. I love how it sounds, and I played it the rest of the day, and then I did a concert with it that night, and I knew this was my new guitar. But the thing is, I love this guitar so much that I haven't missed the old one for 10 seconds. I've never thought about it. This is a way better guitar than my old guitar. It's got me totally in love with playing guitar again because of the way it plays. It's hundreds of dollars more expensive. It's $600 more expensive than my old guitar, and it was totally paid for by the airline. And the thing is, I owe it all to Attilla, the gate agent. I mean, you just never know who's going to turn out to be an angel in your life.